Are you looking for purpose? I was too. I was only 18 years of age, yet feelings of rejection, anger, and hopelessness was drowning out my future. A heavily recruited athlete, homecoming king of my high school, you would have thought I had life all together, but I had one problem. My past was determining my future. I had a history paved with 4 generations of abusive men, alcohol, drugs, molestation, murder, and a fatherless childhood left me without purpose. I was at the end of my rope. My pain had become much greater than my dreams. To make matters worse, all the people who did care about me, I began to push away. For example, my mother. One night we got into a huge fight. I remember being in an out-of-control rage, running to the front of my house and punching my front door. I watched my front door crack in two, and then I turned around to see something I'll never forget. There was the most incredible woman in the world, my mom, on her knees crying. And my mother said something to me I'll never forget. She looked at me and she said, "Brian, you're just like your father." It was the words that I never wanted to hear, but the words that I probably needed to hear. It was as if someone had taken an arrow, put it in a bow, and shot it, and hit me straight in the heart. I had never seen my father before, but I knew exactly what he looked like that day because I saw him in the tears that ran down my mother's face. I grabbed my car keys, I ran out of my house, I drove around all night long, and I asked myself 1,000 questions. I didn't have an answer for any of them. And then I realized my mom was right. I had become like my father. I felt as if my life had no value and that my life had no purpose. And so I made a decision to take my life. The next day, I made plans to end my life. I went to school for the last time to see my 2 best friends. And on my way out of school that day, I headed towards the back door. I was headed home to end it all. And there was a young man at the back door. His name was Jeff. I asked Jeff, could he give me a ride home? And Jeff got the biggest smile on his face and he said, "Yeah, I'll give you a ride home." We got into Jeff's car and Jeff looked at me and here's what he said. He said, "Brian Pruitt, God has a purpose for your life and Jesus Christ loves you." Now, mind you, Jeff had no idea that I was about to go home and take my life. And yet here he is making this incredible statement to me. Well, Jeff invited me to come to his youth group that night, and I wasn't sure what to expect. But I wanted to know, was it true? Did God really love me? Did God have a purpose for my life? And did God value me that much? Could it be true? Nothing could prepare me for what was about to happen in my life. An incredible transformation was about to take place. I sat there with tears in my eyes, and each tear represented the despair, pain, and all the questions I had had for over 18 years. My intense desire to take my life began to turn into an intense desire to live. I gave my life to Jesus Christ that night, and I found out something. I found out that I did have value, and that God did have a purpose for my life. God that night, He touched my pain, He gave me passion, and then He gave me purpose. And we at Malachi Global Foundation want you to know that God will do the same for you.